welcome back all my creative friends. Now guess what I'm doing today? Yes, I'm working on this. My name is Cheryl and this is my channel, Bluegrass Dreams and Seams. Thank you for joining me again this week. Okay, I like the fit, but what I had to do, I noticed this was a 16 was the biggest size. And you know, this right here looks good to me. Now, this seam allowance that I take right here will take the rest of that up. This is the seam allowance right now. I have this inside out. So this is not the color of the dress. It's really brighter on the other side. But I wanted to try it inside out because I have pins in it. So it pinned about a ½ inch seam allowance. I could probably go 5/8. At first I wasn't thinking I was going to do that, but I think I will take a 5/8 inch seam. I did not put the placket in. I cut this V-neck. And the reason I did that was because of the size. I was so afraid that if I cut it by 16 all the way and had the front seam, the back seam, the side seam, I needed to try to cut this on the fold this time and just go with it. I lengthened this 2 inches, so I was carefully cutting everything. I did the same thing on the back. I did not do a center back seam. I needed to allow myself a little room through here, and I'm very, very pleased with the way this is fitting and feeling, so I'm glad I did it. So I'm working on my dress. Now I'm really loving the fact that it fits. So my idea of doing away with these center seams, because this sizing was a 16, I feel like has been very successful. My only concern, of course, is this. I don't really like it being quite that low, and I don't think that I can raise the shoulder seams anymore because it would make it too tight in here, plus my armholes. So I'm thinking that I may just have to live with it. I might have to just put a little piece of fabric there. This is just not too tight. You can see there's ease in here to, you know, so that is cut pretty close to a 16. Love the color. It's just I've got to figure out how I'm going to finish this, and I know how I'll finish this part. So there you go. Just a quick and easy put it together. It's great when you change your pattern and you feel this good about how it's fitting. So right here, it is Friday night, and I had hoped to have this dress finished. However, I've had to deconstruct, and the reason is because this edge here drops down a lot further than I want it. And I'm thinking that if I just take off this seam allowance right here on this edge and just gradually work it back in, not touching this because this part was perfect. I just want to take off a seam allowance depth here and gradually shave it back in on both sides. That would help this front. Now, I don't think it'll be noticeable at the hem, however it might be, but I will just deal with that at a later date. I'm getting ready to press all this out and cut it. I'll have to also cut this facing back as much as I do here, so I'll make them all match once I get that done. And both sides are loose, and I'm hoping I get this done pretty quickly, and hopefully it works, and if not, then, you know, I will try to figure out something else to do. But I'm not happy with where this point comes on me, and it looks like it's a little bit long in this area. Nothing wrong with this back neck edge. It's clearly just right here in this beginning seam right here. I just got to reduce that down and shape it in as closely and as neatly as I possibly can on both sides. It'll have to be the same, so it'll look the same. So if this is still too low, then I'm just going to run a triangular piece of the fabric across there, probably no more than an inch deep in the middle, and let it go, because I probably should have made this a circular neckline instead of a point. Didn't think about that when I was cutting it out. I was just excited. So I do love the fabric. It is beautiful. So let me see what happens, and I'll be back. So as you can see, here's the dress finished where I made that little alteration. I had to take all this apart to down to here, and about 3 inches on the back as well, to get it to where I could put the facing back on. So the top stitching had to come out quite a bit, and I've thought once about pulling it all out, but then I thought I don't want to stretch this anymore. I'm afraid this fabric was kind of stretching. So I have overstitched into that top stitching. I can't see it. It blends in pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that. Taking out the 5/8 right here, just this little bit of an area right in here, worked like a charm. I snipped off the front facing seam allowance and then just re-seamed it, and the seams matched up almost perfectly. That part you don't see anyway, so I really didn't care, just so it was fitting. The fit is what I wanted to get, so that I worried. But trust me, the facing seam allowance is right almost in line with this shoulder line of stitching. But it did take out the waviness that I had here, so that worked for me. I just wish that this had been taken care of. It's not. So I think to get rid of this, I would have had to do away with at least an inch. So I'll make a note of that on the pattern, that I might want to raise this neckline area up by decreasing how much length is in here. Now that of course means I'll have to redraw this drop line for my arm, or my armholes will be too tight. So that can be easily done, I think. I've been watching some of the professional people, how they adjust that out, and it doesn't seem like it's really all that hard. Sewing plans. I probably won't be out with a video again for a couple of weeks, because number one, I'm going to be in Cincinnati helping my son because his older boy is having surgery. So I'm not going to be around, but I might pop in with just a little knitting snippet just to kind of show you, because I started that Scappy Summer Tank and I'm really liking the way it's going right now. I have pulled wool sock yarn to make 2 more. Instead of doing socks, I'm going to do this. And I can wear that under a denim jacket. It'll be fine. Our winters here generally don't dip down too low. We're at 45, I think it's like the average. And for me, 45 can be a little warm in the winter. So it's all in what you get used to, believe me. And my audience is more interested in seeing me make something more complicated, and the steps and processes I go through in making that. So that's just where, I'm going to try to work toward another blouse to show you how I take something that's more current blouse, but you could add Victorian lace touches to it to create that look. So I'm going to do another one of those. And I have fabric picked out for it. Laces I'm kind of wishy-washy on yet. Still working on that process, but once I get that all finalized, I'll do a video that just shows you that process and how I decided. And I only allowed myself 2 yards because you don't get any cuts on pricing at Joann's where they carry this. And I think just selective Joann stores actually have the display anymore. I've been in 2 or 3 Joann stores in Nashville, and none of them have it. And the only one I've been able to find this in, I kind of would like to keep it secret, but I won't. Now that I have at least one piece of it. It's in Evansville at their Joann's still carries the Liberty Lawn where you can look at it. It is really hard to pick because there's so many pretty pieces, but you can't use the coupon on it. They have ran it on sale, I think, one time. I will make a simple top out of it. And so that's coming up. I do own, they're not Liberty Lawns, but they are a lawn type fabric that I purchased at Let's Sew. That is what's planned for me. Have yourself a good 2 weeks. I will see you soon, I promise. If nothing else, I might just do a couple of shorts while I'm gone. I'm not going to be able to sew, so that's just where I am. Sorry, guys, but we'll see you soon, I promise. Bye.